All right, well, that was your first look at the collaboration we've got going here between the Ramsey County Library across the hall and the New Brighton Community Center. So that's how we'll look at that. So welcome to the New Brighton Community Center and the Ramsey County Library in New Brighton. My name is Meg Robertson, and I'm the branch manager at our newest branch in the Ramsey County system. We opened October 29th, 2011, and we are so happy we are able to host a club book event. And that's possible because we are partnering with the community center in this library, and we have this lovely large room where we can invite fun and important people. So this program is presented by MELSA, an alliance of metropolitan public libraries and the Ramsey County Library, and coordinated by the Friends of the Hennepin County Library. That's cooperation. Club Book is funded with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, which dedicated funding to preserve Minnesota's art and cultural heritage. To learn more about Club Book and upcoming events, please visit clubbook.org. So Jenni Holm. Jenni Holm is the award-winning author of the graphic novel series Babymouse, and that's illustrated by her brother Matthew Holm. Babymouse was the first graphic novel to win an ALA Notable Children's Book and has garnered other honors as well. And she's not only Babymouse author, she's also authored Our Only May Amelia, Penny from Heaven, most recently Turtle in Paradise, and she also authors the Boston Jane series. Let's see, what else can we say about Jenni? Well, you know what? Jenni is really the best person to talk about Jenni. Many of her tales begin with stories from her family's history and from her own childhood as well, but like I said, she's the best person to talk about herself and her writing. So without further ado, from California, Jenni Holm.
All right, did everybody finish their homework? Excellent. Okay, well, I got to put these on, right? Right? Because who are we here to talk about today? Who knows Babymouse? Nice. Who doesn't know Babymouse? All right, cool. All right, so I make Babymouse with my brother Matt. And so to talk about how Babymouse began, we have to go to the beginning, the very beginning. We have to go a long time ago, in a suburb far, far away. That's where Babymouse began. In the kiddie pool, in the backyard. I do not let him sit on me anymore. I sit on him now. You know, we had a pretty typical childhood. I thought, we'll take a little walk down memory lane. So this is the house we grew up in. You're supposed to go, aw. Oh, look, okay. And there's our family. Aw. Our dog, Ruffy. Aw. He's dead. Well, it was like the 70s, so it would be a very old dog. And you know, we did a lot of the same things you guys do, like, you know, ballet and baseball. And of course, we played in trash cans. But probably the most unique part of my childhood was that I am actually one of 5 kids, and the other 4 were all boys. In fact, there were so many boys, whenever I tried to put this PowerPoint presentation together, there's never even a picture of all the boys with me in one shot. And one thing that I learned about growing up with brothers is that there were a lot of stinky soccer socks in the house. And there were a lot of comic books, because when I was growing up, my brothers loved to read comic books. In fact, all the boys in the house liked to read comic books. And you might say that the biggest boy in the house got us started on our comic book reading habit, because my dad, this is a picture of my dad, very heroic picture. He was a naval aviator and a doctor, but he was a huge comic book and comic strip reader. In fact, when we were growing up, we had the bound volumes of Prince Valiant and Flash Gordon in our house, which some of the parents might know, because he was such a supporter of comics. But I grew up reading my dad's comics, but because I was the middle child, I had to read what the older brothers were reading and what the little ones were reading. So my older brothers read Peanuts, And the younger ones read Calvin and Hobbes. Who knows Calvin and Hobbes? Yeah. And of course, I couldn't get away from the superheroes, right? You know, like, have anybody heard of this guy? Just shout out his name if you know him. Batman. Yeah, what about this guy? Superman. And? Spider-Man. And? He is so underappreciated, Plastic Man. But let's go back for a minute, okay? Let's go back. Let's try this again. Ready? Whoops. Batman. Superman. Spider-Man. Plastic Man. What do they all have in common? Man. Oh! It's true. You know, there weren't a whole lot of ladies in comics back then. Now, I know somebody in the audience is going to say, but what about Wonder Woman, right? Who was going to say it? The guy in the third row. No, just kidding. Yeah, Wonder Woman. I guess you could say I never identified with Wonder Woman. I mean, this is me when I was in elementary school, and this is Wonder Woman. Why do you think I didn't identify with her, you guys? Anyone? Oh wait, I'm wearing underwear. I'm not going out in public in the underwear though, see? So, I didn't like Wonder Woman very much, and I was always wishing that there was a cool girl comic book character that I could actually relate to. Somebody kind of like Babymouse. And luckily for me, I had a very talented younger brother. Now you may know my brother Matt from his very artsy author photo, right? Mm-hmm. This is how you might recognize him. But this is how I think of him. It's true. He was a little silly. But when he was a kid, he was a doodler. Now, are there any doodlers here? Anybody like to draw? Well, Matt was nice. Look at that. I am here to tell you that being a doodler is a good thing. Drawing in your notebooks, maybe not drawing on your sister, but you know, drawing in general is good. Because Matt started drawing his first cartoon strip when he was in 6th grade, and this is it. It was called The Fast Lane, and it was about an alien boy, and he lives with his alien family. But even at a young age, you could tell that, you know, he showed promise, right? That looks pretty good. And then when he was in college, he had an internship with a political cartoonist from the Philadelphia Inquirer. And then after college, he did a webcomic about aliens. I know, the alien thing. I mean, he's one of these strange kids, you guys. Don't grow up and be like my brother. Necessarily. Not the alien part, at least. I mean, when he graduated from high school, most kids go to the beach. My brother and his best friend did a road trip to every alien UFO site in the United States that they could find. Anyway, we'll get away from the aliens. And eventually Matt would grow up to work on Babymouse with me. But there was one really important thing that Matt and I had to do before we could work on Babymouse. What do you think that was? What do you think we had to do? Anybody? No? What do you think we had to do? We had to grow up, right? I had to go to a dance looking like little Bo Peep. Matt had to graduate from college. Aww. I got married. Aww. Matt married a goth chick. Aww. I had 2 kids. Aww. And Matt got a puppy. Aww. And so, after we grew up, we were actually living pretty near each other. I was living in Brooklyn and he was living in Queens. And I had the idea one day for Babymouse. And so the next time I saw him, I gave Matt this little scribbled napkin idea of what Babymouse was. And this is actually Matt's first drawing of Babymouse. I know, but does it look like the Babymouse we know? Does it look a little different? Yeah, I mean, it has some of the characteristics, right? You know, the bow on her head and the arms on her hips and the heart. But you'll notice something. Whiskers. Good attention to detail. We might have to hire you for the Random House team because What is Babymouse missing? Does anybody see? Tail. The tail. It's true. Matt forgets her tail. He forgets her whiskers. Sometimes he even forgets her heart. So at our publisher, there's a person in the copy edit department who's the official Babymouse whisker tail heart checker. Like, that's her job, is to go through the books and make sure he didn't forget anything in the art. So if you ever find something missing, just email me. So, but like anything in life, he started working on Babymouse. He started sketching her. And he sketched her and sketched her some more. And at one point, her snout got a little long. But, you know, we really wanted Babymouse to be somebody that everybody could identify with, you know? She has bad whisker days, like I'm kind of having a bad hair day here. She's a best friend who's a weasel. Who has a best friend who's a weasel? Somebody here does. Ah, front row. She has a locker that eats her homework. Oh, nice. That's a good one. She's an annoying little brother. I'm not sure where I got that idea. And of course, there's a mean girl at school, right? Yeah. Felicia Furry Paws. And this is how Matt drew Felicia. And that's how I drew her. Who do you think's better, Matt or me? Let's try that again. So, who did a better drawing of Felicia? Matt or me? Thank you. So, you have a really cool library system that brings in authors and illustrators to talk to you guys about making books. So I'm sure I'm not going to be the first author or illustrator that you're going to meet. And they'll talk about what it's like to make maybe a chapter book or a picture book. But Matt and I had to figure out, how do you make a graphic novel? Because it's kind of a combination of the two. And this is how we actually work together. We start off with what's called a storyboard. And a storyboard is how they make animated movies and television commercials. And what it is the top row is what the narrator says. You know the narrator in Babymouse who's always saying snarky things? Yeah. And then the middle row describes the action, like what's happening. And the bottom row is all the dialogue. So I'll write the whole manuscript using a storyboard. And then I'll email to Matt, and then he'll do lots of quick little thumbnail sketches, and just a regular little sketch pad with pencil, just as big as your thumb, and he'll do that for the whole storyboard, and then he'll scan all that art and email to me, and then I'll kick all my children out of the dining room and take over the table, and I actually will lay out the book the way it looks with the cells and how it flows across the pages. And then Matt will do a black and white version of what I've laid out. But we're missing something. What are we missing, you guys? What are we missing?
The pink.
The pink. We're missing Babymouse's color. Or Matt likes to call it lightish red. He has a big pink shirt that says it's not pink, it's lightish red. And that's what it looks like at the end. But Babymouse has a new friend, right? She has a new kind of slimy green friend named Squish. Who's heard of Squish? Oh, nice. And Squish is an amoeba. And he has his own series. But we actually first meet Squish in a Babymouse book, right? Babymouse Mad Scientist. It's kind of like a classic crossover book, you know, two comic book characters meeting in a single issue. And we meet Squish because Babymouse enters the science fair. And she brings home some pond water, and she looks under the microscope, and she sees a little blob. And the blob starts talking, and the blob says, "I am not a blob, I am an amoeba." And this is what a real amoeba looks like. Cool. No? Well, our amoeba is Squish is just, you know, he's like a regular boy. He likes to eat cupcakes. No, he doesn't. Oh, Twinkies. Sorry, got so confused. And it was very difficult figuring out, you know, who we should base squish on. Like we thought and thought and thought and thought. You know, it was hard. Yeah. So when you meet my brother Matt, you know what you tell him? That he looks like an amoeba. Because he does. But like my brother, he likes to read comic books about his favorite character, Super Amoeba, who is kind of this classic comic book, and asparagus monsters run through streets. And like all superheroes, he needs a gimmick. He doesn't have a cape or a lasso. He has a hat, right? And his hat feels emotions. Like when Squish is angry, his hat gets angry. And when Squish is frustrated, his hat is frustrated. Does anybody have a hat like that? Anybody would love to have a hat like that? Yeah. And all his friends are kind of inspired by real creatures in the pond, you know? There's his best friend, Pod, who's another kind of amoeba. And there's Peggy, who's a paramecium. And she's always happy because paramecium don't like negative stimuli. True scientific fact. And of course, there's Principal of Planaria. Does your principal look like a flatworm? No, I've met a few that do. And of course, there's Peggy's pet slime mold, Fluffy. And I wonder who Fluffy looks like. Oh, see, I had to show you that dog photo in the beginning. And now Squish. Squish has 2 books out now, and the 3rd book is coming out in May, and it's Squish Power the Parasite, just in time for summer. It's about what happens when Squish goes to summer camp. So we're very excited about that. But since I'm a real live author, I mean, who's met an author before? What else? So, I mean, I'm sure you're wondering, like, what I do all day, you know? Do I just sit around in fluffy pink dresses eating bonbons? What do you think? Yes. Absolutely. Well, I thought I'd show you my real life a little bit. You know, I'm a total morning person, as you can see. Yep, love mornings. And my house is kind of like a zoo most days, trying to keep the animals locked up, feeding them, supervising them, keeping the pirates away. They just show up. But I try to get a little writing done in my office. And I like to take a ride around the neighborhood on my Babymouse-tastic bike. I know every kid in my neighborhood wants my bike. And at the end of the day, I like to fall asleep doing my favorite thing ever. What do you think that is? Reading. Well, there's a new Babymouse book coming out. It's coming out in July. Does anybody know what it is? Anyone? Babymouse for president! She is a candidate everybody can get behind, right? A cupcake in every locker. And I thought, even though it's a couple months away, I'd give you guys a sneak peek of Babymouse for president if you promise not to go on Facebook and tell everybody. Okay. All right. Okay, so I need 2 kids. We're gonna bring up the lights and we're gonna act it out. I need 2 kids who can read and are dramatic. All right, come on up. All right, okay. So, I like the 2 different Crocs, nice. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have you read the part of Babymouse. We'll stand over here by these balloons, and I'll have you read the part of the narrator, and I'll read everybody else. It'll be like a radio play. Actually, you know what? We have to stand over here. I'm sorry, my computer's over here. All right. Okay, so actually, why don't you guys come around, and let's see, can you see that pretty well? Yeah. All right. Okay, here we go. The very first live reading of Babymouse for president. Here we go. Babymouse is walking down the halls, and she's passing lockers, and she sees this sign and says, "The student council needs you for president." And then we hear a voice, "Babymouse? Hi, Babymouse.
Hi, Wilson.
Want me to save you a seat in the cafeteria?"
Thanks. I just have to get my lunch out of my locker.
See you in a few minutes. Click.
Now, where's my lunch? Huh?
Oop.
Where'd everything go? Who ate my lunch?
Burp.
Looks like you're buying lunch today, Babymouse.
Stupid locker.
Excuse me.
Lunch.
Yuck! Gag! Choke! Why can't they give us tasty food?
Ew, this is gross.
Maybe you should do something about it instead of complaining.
But my locker ate my lunch.
Got involved.
Huh?
Be part of the solution, Babymouse.
What solution?
Run for president, Babymouse.
President?
And then she starts imagining. And what does she imagine? The Pink House. And of course, at state dinners, they serve cupcakes. And what does she say?
Read my lips. No more homework.
And of course, she signs a bill. And what's her first bill? The no fractions law. And she decides to rename the country the United States of
Babymouse.
Nice.
This is gonna be great.
Public services in a wonderful vacation.
I can't wait to be in charge.
Sigh. To be continued.
Can we give them a hand? You guys want to take a bow? Come on up here. Let's get 1, 2, 3. Good job. Good job. Awesome. All right, so I think it's time to do a little drawing, okay? All right, let me bring this over. Whoops. Thank you. All right. I need a volunteer with a big imagination from the audience. Who's got a big imagination? With the blue shirt, come on up. All right. What is your name? Nice to meet you. Okay, so Babymouse has a big imagination. She imagines herself being president and queen of the world and a dragon slayer. So if you could have Babymouse be anything, anywhere, any why, any what, anyhow, any who, what would you have Babymouse be?
100-layered cupcake.
100-layer cupcake. You just whipped that right out. All right. Let's try it. So you guys do know that I don't draw, right? My brother does. So you have to encourage me and say kind things. Okay, 100-layered cupcake. You're starting me off easy, I see. Okay, well we'll start off with the base. The basic cupcake base. Okay. 100 layers. Well, maybe we can do 10 layers, and each 10 layers. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boy, this is a lot of sugar. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, the math is getting me down. There we go. All right, we got 100 layers. But we got to get Babymouse in there. So, get her head in. Is she happy about being a cupcake? All right, just checking. She can eat herself. Does she have straight whiskers or messy whiskers?
Messy.
All right. Bad whisker day. All right, what are we missing? What are we missing? Arms? Okay. Okay. And, all right, let's try the arms. Actually, I'm going to have you do the heart. So why don't you?
President of cupcakes.
You what?
Babymouse president.
Babymouse president of cupcakes. This is the official Babymouse Prez. And so wait, what do you think she's going to say? She has to say something.
Get me a spoon.
Get me a spoon. Or even, how about,
Don't eat.
don't eat me.
She has bodyguards all over.
Don't eat me. I'm too sweet. All right. Can we give him a hand? Woo! All right, here you go. You are taking home the 100-layer baby mouse. Whoops. I did graduate from college. I should be able to rip this paper off. Yeah, here we go. There we go. All right. Good job. Awesome. Okay, now that you kind of know what we're doing, I need another volunteer. We need to do a squish, I think. Somebody is slimy green in the back of the room needs to come up. She looks a little green. What is your name?
Gina.
Very nice. Well, you're kind of rocking the perfect baby mouse squish combination here, the pink green. So, if you could have squish be anywhere, any who, any why, any how, any what kind of amoeba would you have squish be? He could be a lawyer amoeba, and he would say, I object to pound scum. A Twinkie?
Twinkie.
Squish as a Twinkie. Boy, who did not have dessert here tonight? Obviously, there's a lot of food cravings in the room. Okay, squish as a Twinkie. This is complicated. Okay, let's try. That's kind of a Twinkie. And then with an amoeba kind of growing out of it. How do you think his hat feels about being a Twinkie? Mad? He's like, seriously? You're a Twinkie? All right, what does squish as a Twinkie say? Well, I'll have to put it on a nice big plate. Maybe with a tall glass of milk. What do you think squish the Twinkie says? How about, I'm on sale. All right, let's give a hand to Squish the Twinkie. Here, wait, come back. All right, don't sell this on eBay. All right, I need 2 volunteers. All right, yes, with the brown sweatshirt, come on up. And we need the half sweatshirt. All right, come on up. We got 2 volunteers. All right. So, you guys are both going to draw. We're going to have a squish draw off. Yeah, but well, actually, you know what? I think I need to show you first how to draw a squish. Are you ready?
Can we do a baby mouse and squish?
You can do a baby mouse and squish, totally. So I'll give you a little quick drawing lesson on how to draw a squish. Are you ready? It's really hard. Draw a blob. Give the blob some eyes. Give the blob a mouth. Give the blob a hat with a face. That's squish. You think you guys can do that?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to have a draw-off, and we're going to have each of you draw a squish.
Or a baby mouse.
Or baby mouse. Okay, we'll do squish or baby mouse.
Well, you should do squish. He's a boy.
You know what? We need like a theme though. How about we do combo? How about it's the first time that Squish meets Babymouse? How's that sound?
I'll do Babymouse.
What do you think? You do Squish? Okay. How about, since you're going to do Squish and you're going to do Babymouse, they need a unifying theme. How about they're both ballerinas? Because, you know, amoebas can dance, right?
They could be at a rock concert.
At a rock, okay. I guess they could be at a rock concert too. All right, so they're rock stars? All right, okay. All right, you pick a marker, pick a weapon. There we go.
I'm gonna go with black too, favorite color.
All right, let's count them down. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, draw. Okay, while they're drawing, we don't want to psych them out. You know, since I'm like the 10th author you've met, apparently, I thought you guys might have questions. Does anybody have a question? So, yes, the story started tragically, like all stories do. My grandmother died. She was like 100-ish. So after she died, they were cleaning out her attic, and they found a little suitcase. And in the suitcase was a diary that had been kept by my great aunt 100 years ago. And as a Christmas present, one of my aunts sent a photocopy to all the grandchildren of the diary. Now, you may imagine that when all the grandchildren received a photocopy of this diary for Christmas instead of the $20 check, there was not a lot of shouts of happiness going on. But I was very happy to get the copy of the diary. So Squish. So really, so we were doing Babymouse for a few years, and then our editor at Random House said, you know, would you like to do another series? And we thought, sure. And I was like, I wonder what we should do. And my brother, you know, he's my youngest brother. He had drawn, by that time, 17 Babymouse books in pink, based on his sister's life. Yeah. So as you may imagine, he said, it's going to be all about me next time. So he wanted to do kind of a boy take of what it's like to be a boy in elementary school. And he loves science. We grew up in a very sciencey household. My dad was a doctor, my mom's a nurse. And so he wanted to do something fun and sciencey. And nobody has ever really given amoebas their due as a character. So somebody had to. Good question. How long did it take me to write the 17 Babymouse? So we started working on Babymouse probably around 2001, but we actually didn't sell it until 2003, and then it didn't come out till 2005. So wait, how old are you? Okay, so you're about, you know, we started doing it in earnest when we sold it when my son was born, and he's 8. So you're almost as old as Babymouse. How did I get the name of Babymouse? Okay, you're gonna have to swear to keep it secret. Ready? Cross your heart. I swear to never tell the story of where Babymouse's name came from, and I won't put it on Twitter either. No, it's okay. So, when Matt and I were growing up, our grandmother had a poodle, and it was a very interesting poodle. It was a pedigree poodle, and she was kind of famous. She was famous in our family because this poodle would yip happy birthday, like, and run in a circle. I mean, you just don't see too many dogs who do that. And this poodle's name was Babymouse. So Babymouse, the mouse, is named after a poodle. I know, it's mind-boggling. Anybody else? Wait, let me just check on our artists. They are still going. You should definitely have them say something. We'll give them like another 2 minutes. Who else? Anybody else have a question?
About what Squish should do?
Yeah, it's actually been a very interesting road because I do most of the. I mean, the way we do the books is we'll kind of come up with an idea together. We'll come up with the plot together, and then I'll beat out the plot using the storyboard, and I'll often leave big gaps in places like of dialogue or when I think something isn't funny in Babymouse and Squish, and I'll just put star Matt fill this in. And so it works out well. But with Squish, I've had to kind of restrain myself a little bit. I am familiar with the boys, beast, in nature, having grown up with them. But, I always want the characters to talk about their feelings and really get emotional, and Matt's like, no. They're not going to say anything. Just you have to let that go. So, and he likes to do the endings on more of where Babymouse often ends on a bit of a more realistic note. Squish always ends on a bit of a more fantastic note, because who doesn't want the bully in your life to be taken out by an asteroid? That's like a much more fitting ending for most boys, you would ask. So. Yeah, so the narrator. Do I think sometimes when I reread the books, the narrator is kind of annoying? So the narrator is very funny to begin with. So one of the things with Babymouse is Matt and I have never lived, since we first came up with the idea, we've never lived anywhere near each other. So I actually live in California now, and he lives in Oregon. So we always have to I have to be very explicit when I send him storyboards, or when I lay something out, I'll just put lots of description. And at the very beginning when I was laying it out, because I would mail him packets of layouts. I would write, you sit in your house all day. The writing life is a glamorous one. You start to eat too many cupcakes. So I would think I was being terribly clever about, laying out a scene, and then I would write, isn't this hilarious, Matt? This is so hilarious, poor Babymouse. And he started including all my snarky comments. And so now the narrator has become this very British voice in my head, like, really, Babymouse? Again? So Babymouse just has become, the narrator is his own character now. So it kind of grew out of me probably spending a little too much time by myself. Yes. It's actually pretty easy, because he's very mellow and very easygoing. And, when you're not in a room with somebody, you're not going to really argue too much. So, all right. Wait a second. I think they're done. Are they done? You guys done? Done-ish? Okay. Let's count them down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep, 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 beep. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Why don't you step back? Why don't you tell me a little bit about your drawing?
It's a picture of Squish with his hat saying, "This is fun." And he says, "Yeah!" And then he's playing his guitar and it's going ding, 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 ding.
He's like John Bon Jovi Squish, rocking it out. We got Squish with the guitar.
And
Peggy and Potter here. They're in the audience. They're like, woohoo! Amoebas! Little flashlights. Squishes his hat saying, "This is fun, yeah!" That is awesome. And I love the expression. The hat is great. I love the perspective of the audience, looking up on stage. Really good. All right, over here we have, why don't you tell me a little bit about your Babymouse?
It's kind of based on the rock star. She has the same mohawk and earrings on the side. I changed the earrings on the side. Put a guitar behind the heart.
Oh, that's a great touch. That's awesome.
And then she has a microphone and an amp. And then her little brother Squeak and Felissa.
You do a good mean cat.
And it's because I have a mean cat. And then, as usual, Felissa is mean and angry.
Oh, this is great. And so I love the mohawk. She's getting super goth with all the earrings. I don't know if I approve of that, but that's okay. This is a great idea. I might have to steal that for a book. With the guitar behind the heart, that's awesome.
Oh, and then there's a disco.
And there's a disco. Everybody needs a disco ball.
I have one in my room.
All right, can we give them a hand? That was awesome. Let's give them a big hand. All right, good job. Why don't you guys sit down? All right, I think we have time for maybe one more drawing. We have one for me to draw. Let me see. Does anybody have an idea? Anyone? Come on up. Is this a brother-sister team in the audience? Nice. Is he a nice brother?
Yes.
Is she a nice sister? All right, just checking. All right, so why don't you tell me your name?
Alfie.
Okay, so do you want to do a baby mouse or a squish? What do you think?
A squish.
Okay, oh, she's got it. All right. Do you have an idea?
Yeah.
Okay, lay it on me.
I want squish to be under a microscope.
Nice! That's good. Very good. Okay.
Maybe to be like examined by Babymouse or something.
All right, so let's do like a microscopic slide. Okay. Okay, what do you think Squish is saying under the microscope?
Don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
I'm too young to die.
I like that. I'm too young to die. I'm too blobby to die. I'm too squishy to die. Okay, so then maybe we have like, maybe just Baby Mouse is sticking her hand on the slide. It's like this big hand coming. Is that what a mouse hand looks like?
No.
Did I go to art school? No. All right, so this is Baby Mouse, this is Squish under the microscope, under observation. Okay. All right, let's give her a hand. Woo! There we go. All right. Cool. A few more questions if anybody has them, and if not, we can sign. It's up to what you guys. Anybody have questions? How did I get the idea of the bully for Baby Mouse or for Squish? For Baby Mouse. Is there a bully in your life? No? Is that part of? I like how you whacked each other. Are you related? Cousins? Sisters? Okay, just wondering. Yeah, so there was a bully in my life when I was growing up. So I guess you could say I'm getting back. Writing is good therapy. What do my kids think? So my daughter is 4, so she's not reading yet. She doesn't quite get it, but she's a little funny. Her name is Melly, and we've taken her to a few comic conferences, and she mans the booth. And when people come up and ask me to sign something, she wants to sign it. But then my son is he's actually a big comic reader, and he's kind of using it a little bit to get chicks lately. He'll come home and say, "I promised Ashlyn the whole set of Babymouse." And of course I'll be like, "You can't give it to her." He's like, "But I want to be her friend." I'm like, "Well, if I give it to her, I have to give it to the entire class, And all right, how about one last question, and then we'll do some signing. Anyone? All right. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. What a great audience. And then